Hi, I'm Jennifer Branch. On today's Christmas card, we're doing a beautiful holly leaf sparkling with gold. Let's paint. This is a very easy Christmas card to do, so it's in the list of the very easiest ones. It won't take very long at all. The video is only 9 minutes long, and say another minute or two, and you'll have a gorgeous card and painted for your friends. So I start off with Pthalo Green, and I haven't dulled it this time, but I will a little bit later. And I'm just dashing in my rough sketch of a holly leaf. I'm leaving lots of holes. This is just fun. Put on Christmas music, let your brush dance, and let things flow. You want to leave all those holes because holly leaves are very shiny, and we're not doing the full extent of the shininess in a rough sketch like this. But we do want the idea of it because otherwise it doesn't look like a holly leaf. So leave white holes where reflective surfaces. And look at holly leaves. Notice how they do. I've got tons of holly in my yard, and I always put a bunch on the door at Christmas. It's just very cheerful. So it's one of my classic Christmas decorations, holly with a big red bow. And you know I have to have splatter paint in something like a Christmas card. Just loosen everything up. You don't want, this is not serious. You don't want a serious painting. We don't want everything precise. It's very easy way to loosen things up is to just splatter paint a little. Now I'm dropping in some Azo Yellow just to brighten things up a tiny bit. Still not getting rid of the holes, just adding some highlights on them. Letting everything blur together and splatter together and some splotches. And just have fun. As I said, it's a beginner one. It's easy. I'm going to want those holly berries, the red berries, to stand out. So I'm doing a little bit of darks around them, and that red-green contrast will help them stand out. Now splattering in some maroon perylene, and that deep red will blur beautifully. Now just rough outline of the berries. Nothing in particular. And I have the splatter paint, so it doesn't matter whether it's exact or not. I'm going back to redefine it later anyways. It just needs red up there. Now it's time to let it dry and redefine those berries. I'm going in with quinacridone red and the slightly brighter red, just it brightens it up. We've got the dull base and then the bright against it, and that contrast, they enhance each other. So it isn't just red-green contrast. You want warm, cool, and even in a color group. Contrast is part of what makes it exciting and interesting, and that's half of what the splatter paint is it's splatter paint to loosen up and have fun, but it's also that white contrast against the dark the white paper, and the dark contrast against the white paper, and that makes a big difference. So I'm having things flow together, just some splotches of red, who knows what it is. All I'm wearing is color. This is all about color and red and green Christmas. More yellow to brighten it up. See how it's really coming together? It just doesn't take very much. And more splatter. Brighten the berries up even another go. Most of the time, the minimum number of washes I would ever do on anything, even a sketch, is 3. So even with something fun and silly like a Christmas card, I still want to do 3 washes because I'm not going to get the depth of color that I want. It's like a minimal baseline amount of color with 2 layers. It's just not going to happen. Especially on something like these Strathmore cards where with less sizing, the paper soaks up color like a sponge and leaves it much duller. So they're easy to use and you can do 3 washes on them. I wouldn't try too many more than 3 washes, but you do have to remember you need all 3 washes to get bright color. So a few touches of white gouache makes a big difference, and I'm just pulling out a few highlights with a tiny rigger, and that's all it's going to need. You can redefine things in all sorts of ways. You can redefine it with pen and ink. You can add the touches of highlight. You could add white ink if you happen to want to, but I prefer rigger with the white because that way, and gouache, because I can blur it a little bit, and gouache blurs easier than ink would. So just some sheen on the berries. Now I could stop here. This is enough. It's beautiful, it's cheery, but let's go a little bit further. Splatter with water. And I'm bringing on the gold embossing powder. You want to do this on top of a clean sheet of paper so you can recapture the powder and it doesn't go all over your studio because that stuff sticks. It's meant to. It sticks to anything wet. You don't need stamps or anything like that, just some paint and water. And tap it off. Blow it with hot air from underneath so it melts and it's gorgeous and shiny. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed 12 days of Christmas cards. We have a couple more coming up. And for more information, please visit my website, paintingwatercolor.com. Have a joyful holiday. Happy painting.